Please excuse the kind of weird background. I'm in the middle of moving, so it's gonna look like this for a bit. Hey guys, it's Zoe again. If this is your first time at Found Finances, welcome. Today I wanted to talk about how my finances and just my overall spending has changed or not because of COVID. I just kind of wanted to use this as an excuse to look at, all right, what did I spend really in April, which was kind of like what I'm thinking of the core of sheltering in place and similar to what I'm spending now, versus what I was spending in January or February when I had a job and was commuting places, had rent, things like that. And yeah, let me tell you, there's a few differences. Some that I wasn't actually expecting. I thought I was way better in some categories in April than I actually was. So we'll definitely get into that. All right, so we're gonna start off with my favorite thing, which is categories. I feel like this is a great way to divvy up or separate how you're spending your money into tangible little bits that actually mean something to you and isn't just some random number that really gives you no value or understanding of where and how you're spending your money. So I'm going to give you the categories and then I'm going to go in order of the categories explaining the differences between before and during COVID. All right, they're the same pretty much as always. It's going to be housing, transportation, dining out, and groceries. Usually those are, I kind of clump into the same category, but when I started to look at my credit card statements for those months, I realized that those are really different things, especially during COVID. So I was spending money still on groceries during COVID, but I wasn't obviously going out anywhere. So I'm going to split those up into two different categories: entertainment and then monthly bills or subscriptions of sorts, which I know technically rent, which would go under the housing category, would fall under monthly bills, but I'm separating that out for my own sake. It'll make sense when I get to that category why I have it that way. And then I also want to kind of hypothesize what my spending is going to look like after COVID-19, which I'll do at the very end. Cool. Okay, let's start with housing. So living in the Bay Area, it is literally unheard of to be paying rent that's less than $1,000, I would say. Maybe you could find like a converted living room for $900, but pretty much if you're living in the nuclear Bay Area, I don't know what you want to call that, but like San Francisco, Oakland, Berkeley, you're not going to find anything really much better than that. I happen to finesse a little studio in the backyard of some family friends, and so I was paying $400 rent each month before COVID happened. And I'm basing all of this off of the month of February, by the way. Like my before COVID is off the month of February because March, halfway through that, around March 14th or something, Alameda County, at least where I was living and am living, started sheltering in place. So I didn't want to use the month of March because about halfway through that, things started changing. February felt like the real last month that I was doing things the way I had been before the pandemic. Second category, transportation. I added it all up. I was spending $132.61 in the month of February on transportation, and that included gas and parking fees. At that time, I was commuting about only like a 20-minute drive from my apartment, so it wasn't too bad, but I was using my car pretty much every day to get to and from work, and then obviously driving anywhere to meet friends or go out to dinner or do my errands, things like that, I was also using my car for. And that's what I counted for transportation. I wasn't taking any type of public transportation. I didn't fly anywhere. I didn't have a bike. Whatever bike fees would be associated with that. That's what I'm counting as transportation, is really just me driving places. All right, so dining, which obviously has shifted. Before in February, I spent $222.69 on dining out with friends or alone or whatever I was doing then. That's how much I was spending. This has also just been really helpful to like kind of look at those things too. I've been really working on budgeting and keeping myself accountable while spending my money, but this is definitely helping me look, kind of really just see the numbers. Groceries during February was oddly very sparse. I only spent $80 on groceries. Usually I'm around $150 a month, give or take, on groceries. So February felt a little off, but that's what I spent on groceries. And then for entertainment, I spent $275.29. This for me is like movies, buying nice beers, anything I'm like shopping online for, we'll get to it. Things like that are gonna fall under my entertainment category. Basically anything I'm doing for fun that doesn't involve eating out. Okay, and then monthly bills. So I have a phone bill, I have a car payment, and I have a gym membership. My phone bill right now is $30 a month, and that did not obviously stop because of the pandemic. Same with my car payment, it's around $150 a month right now, and that obviously did not stop happening during the pandemic either. But for my gym membership, I was a member at Planet Fitness, and I have to remember to cancel that membership. But that was $15 a month, which is great. And that froze, which was awesome. During when the pandemic happened and when gyms had to shutter and you weren't allowed to go, they froze your monthly payment. So I wasn't paying that during my COVID sheltering months. I'm talking about it like it's in past tense. It's super still happening right now. I have not left my house in days. Okay, so that's all the things that I was spending in February before COVID happened. Now let's get into what I was spending in the month of April during the heat of the pandemic. All right, so for housing, I moved out of the studio I was in, paying $400 a month, and back home where I was paying nothing a month. I was not paying rent. I'm still not paying rent. And the people I was subletting from were nice enough, because they were family friends, to not keep charging me the rent I had been paying once I moved out. Even though I said that I was going to stay till the end of May, I ended up moving out in the middle of March, pretty much when shelter in place started. So that was really nice of them. I know a lot of people right now who had to move home, who, like, for instance, were in New York or somewhere, or at school and you were in a lease. Those rental payments, your rent isn't going anywhere. You still have to pay the rent even if you're thousands of miles away, which is super unfortunate. All right, then for transportation, I spent $21.18 on gas or parking fees, but there were no parking fees for the month of April, which is fabulous. I saved $111.43 or rather that was the difference between February and April. So yeah, I saved around $111 in my transportation section during the pandemic. Totally makes sense. Dining out obviously was wonderful to look at. I spent a total of $5.40 in April, which was on one Thai iced tea to go. So that was also super nice to see. I saved $217.29 in the month of April when comparing it to my budget of February in terms of dining out. Those are the good categories, the ones that made me feel good about my spending. And, I was like, wow, I'm saving so much more because I'm not going out, I'm not doing these things. Wow, like maybe the pandemic's really great for my wallet. So same order, we're going to talk about groceries next. I said groceries last time was $80, or in February was $80, and groceries for the month of April were $299.95, so $300 minus a nickel. That really, when I was thinking about it, I saw it and I was upset when I saw that, because I told you before, usually my grocery bill's around $150. And when I talk about groceries, some of you might be thinking, well, you were living at home, so why were you paying for groceries? My partner and I were buying our own groceries, so we were splitting that in half and basically like feeding ourselves or contributing to the household that way. And when we would go grocery shopping, because we weren't dining out really, we splurged on like fancy beers or like fancy sushi or whatever we found at the grocery store that like made us feel like we were doing something fun with our evening. So that, I think, is really one major way that my spending shifted, and that's why my bill is so much higher for my groceries than it usually is. So I spent $219 more during the pandemic than I did before in groceries, mainly to compensate for going out, like I said, and going to the grocery store was the highlight of the day, still kind of is. So I think that also adds to splurging a little more than usual. Yeah, it wasn't something that when writing out these numbers for this video, it wasn't something I didn't expect to see like a bigger grocery budget. I knew we were spending more, but I was like, whew, that's a little more than I thought. All right, and then entertainment, that was also a little bit of a doozy. I spent $491 on entertainment in the month of April. I'm not mad about it. I know I did that. Obviously was a way that I was entertaining myself, was spending money. And I do have to say there were a couple purchases that I put in the entertainment section during the month of April that were like career forwarding purchases. So like I bought a $200 screenwriting software called Final Draft. That's the industry standard for screenwriting, and that's a one-time fee to buy that software. And that went in my entertainment section for that month. So I also just want to preface it that way. I wasn't just spending left and right online shopping, although I did do that. Yeah, this category was a lot more than before the pandemic, about $215 more. Okay, and then for monthly bills, like I said, phone bill and car payment were still getting paid, and gym membership wasn't. All right, so if we tally up all of those categories for the before COVID and during COVID, like sections I'm dealing with right now. So for the before COVID month of February, I spent a total of $1,305. And then for the during COVID month of April, I spent $997. That's really only a difference of $308 between the before and during, which I thought there was going to be a lot more. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm not spending money on rent anymore. That $400 automatically is going to go to my pocket. I'm not dining out. I'm not driving anywhere. I was like, all this stuff is going to plummet. And like, it did by $308, but it didn't as much as I thought. And that was really, it really evened out the scales with how high my grocery bill, how high my entertainment bill were. So yeah, well, although some categories went down, some other categories went up. So that kind of made the difference a little more even than I thought it was going to be. I was really hoping for like $1,300 in February and like $500 in April. Yeah, no. So yeah, that's kind of how COVID's impacted my wallet over the past couple months. And yeah, I want to think about what my spending might look like in the coming months as things start to reopen, as life shifts in some way to some new shape. Not how it used to be, obviously. I was thinking, you know, I'm moving out, so I'm gonna start paying rent again. That's huge. I still don't really have anywhere to go. I'm not planning on getting a job that I'm gonna have to commute to where I move. So commuting is not going to be a huge issue. I still will have a car payment, and transportation could definitely increase if things do start to open up and socializing shifts in a way that you can go see people at places. So transportation has a potential to definitely change. My dining out is probably still going to be minimal. Takeout didn't really show up in the month of April, but has in May and June currently. So I'm going to obviously see that in my budget somehow. So dining is kind of a question mark, but has the potential to increase. Groceries could stay this high. They haven't in the most recent weeks. I feel like April was a really big grocery month. But if the dining out and the reopening doesn't go really as planned, groceries could be a way for me to feel like I'm having a nicer evening than others. Entertainment, I'm going to keep it in check, I promise you. I don't really know how that's going to change. I know I was spending more online and online shopping and buying things that I thought I needed or whatever during the pandemic. I can see that dwindling now already. I don't do that as much, or I didn't do that as much in the month of May, and I'm currently not doing that as much in the month of June, mainly because I am moving right now. So I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, I have to pay rent, I have to do all these things. I'm not going to go buy whatever online. And then I'm moving, so I'm canceling my gym membership, so I'm not going to have the gym monthly bill of that. So those are kind of the ways I think my spending's going to change. I will definitely keep you guys up to date on what the reality of that actually looks like. If you want to have more of these spending what I spend kind of comparison videos for any sense, or just what I spend in a month kind of in lieu of the budgeting topic, I'd be happy to make more videos. Let me know down in the comments below. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more of this. My name's Zoe, and this is Found Finances. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be sure to see you guys soon.